Is art something to be admired, something to be contemplated, or something to be solved? Sup, I'm Ellie. Welcome to the channel. Spoiler, it's all of those things and more. It's subjective, it's up to the observer. But for me personally, it's about the mystery. It's about solving what the artist might be saying, if anything. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's very Da Vinci, but like on a meaning level. Today I'm going to experiment some more with oil just to find and feel my way around it a little bit. And while I'm exploring and experimenting with oil paint today, I am going to talk a little bit about perspective. More specifically, perspective in art. The first thing I'll say about it is that when it comes to the interpretation of art, it is very subjective because it is just that, it's interpretation. And we all interpret the world through our own distinct lens. But what's interesting about it is how your interpretation is telling of how you relate to the artwork. I recently opened up a discussion about meaning in art in one of my live streams. In doing that, I pulled up an old piece of art, one where I intentionally poured meaning into it. And no one's interpretation of it was the same. But equally, no one hit on the actual meaning that I poured into it. And that's fine. The important thing to me is just that there is meaning and then seeing how people relate to it. This specific piece of art has a name, and initially I wanted to write the name in a very strategic place on the artwork itself, but decided to omit the name for the sake of interpretation. Because interpretation is in the eye of the observer. And for the sake of extending on the fun, I will put the artwork in question up here and you can tell me in the comments, what is your interpretation of this artwork? And I must say, the interpretations that came from it was fascinating. I want to say as well that you don't have to pour meaning into your art, right? It's only important if you're wanting to communicate something, which isn't always the case, and that's okay. And if we really wanted to, we could probably find meaning in art where there is no meaning, because we can attach meaning to anything. But isn't it so exciting to deconstruct an intentional message? And that often leads to meaningful conversation and sometimes even debate about topics we usually sidestep. Anyway, I will leave you with that for now and turn to the oil painting. I do love the vibrancy and I do love the blendability, but it definitely is a thing to get used to. I pretty much leave this painting here. I don't do much more on it, but I will say up front that I am by no means happy with the direction that it's going in, and I've mapped up some changes. And we'll come back to in next week's video, which by the way will be my 50th week in my 100-week challenge. It almost feels like a cliche to say at this point, but it has been a journey for real. But I'll get more into it in next week's video. Anyway, this is where I leave the painting. Like I said, I'm not too happy with where it's going, but I will make those changes next week. In the meantime, I've also been playing around a little bit with Gothic caricature, and here is the result of that. The one on the left side is inspired by Steven Tyler, and the one on the right is inspired by Einstein. That's it for this video. I thank you for your time. I thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe, and come back next week for the next one.